Since retiring from the NBA, Shaquille O'Neal has become a very controversial figure, and not just because of his outlandish ideas and hot takes. Many fans and current players don't appreciate certain comments he's made over the years. Today, we're counting down the 5 worst things Shaq has done that made him look absolutely foolish. These incidents show how even NBA legends can damage their reputation with poorly thought-out statements and actions. But first, if you want to be notified of new NBA content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Now let's get into the countdown. 5. Calling Rudy Gobert the worst player of all time. The WOT controversy. A lot of people debate who the best player of all time is. The usual suspects include Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Magic Johnson, and others. But when Shaq's son interviewed his dad, he didn't ask about the GOAT. Instead, he asked who Shaq thought was the worst player of all time. The WOT. Surprising target selection. There are some players that Shaq really dislikes, but no matter how much he feuds with Dwight Howard over the Superman title, he wasn't petty enough to call Howard the worst ever. JaVale McGee might have been the obvious choice, since he was featured heavily on Shaqtin' a Fool, but McGee somehow avoided this dishonor. Instead, Shaq chose Rudy Gobert, the star center of the Minnesota Timberwolves and current Defensive Player of the Year, as the worst player of all time. Gobert's impressive resume. There aren't many Rudy Gobert superfans out there, but there's absolutely no denying the man's accomplishments. Hack's flawed logic. Shaq's criticism focused on Gobert's contract and playoff struggles. If you agree to pay $250 million, show me $250 million worth of performance. While Gobert does struggle guarding elite perimeter players like Luka Doncic, James Harden, and Steph Curry in the playoffs, the reality is that very few players can effectively stop these generational talents. Gobert's classy response. Gobert had enough of Shaq's attacks and responded with class. It's sad to see someone who has accomplished as much as you have, Shaq, in both sports and business, still be upset about another man's money and success. I guess that's the fun part, but you don't need that stuff to stay relevant like other people do. This measured response made Shaq's petty attacks look even more foolish. 4. Comparing Anthony Edwards to Linsanity. The ridiculous comparison. Shaq is apparently the only person who thought it made sense to compare Jeremy Lin to Anthony Edwards. This comparison was so off base, it's hard to believe it came from a basketball legend. Anthony Edwards' elite status. The flawed logic behind the comparison. When Shaq looked at Edwards' rise, he warned, "You have to be great for a long time." We all remember what happened to Jeremy Lin. The comparison was fundamentally flawed from the start. Anthony Edwards, one of the best high school players in the country, elite college player at Georgia, clear #1 NBA draft pick, consistent improvement and sustained excellence. Jeremy Lin, undrafted player who struck gold temporarily. Brief moment of success with the Knicks. Injuries derailed his career trajectory. Never maintained elite-level play. Why this take aged poorly? These are completely different caliber players with entirely different backgrounds and skill levels. Shaq's tendency to say whatever comes to mind first sometimes makes for entertaining TV, but in this case, it just made him look uninformed about current NBA talent evaluation. 3. The embarrassing math mistake Shaq versus Dwight Howard free throw. Debate Shaq is a basketball player, not a mathematician, and this became painfully obvious during a debate about his longtime rival Dwight Howard. The Hack-a-Shaq context. During one season, the Golden State Warriors used the Hack-a-Shaq strategy on every center who couldn't shoot free throws effectively. This led to Dwight Howard attempting 39 free throws in a single game, the same number of attempts Shaq once had in his record-setting game. Shaq's overconfident mistake. Shaq used this opportunity to mock Dwight's poor free throw shooting, calling it the pot calling the kettle black. During his argument with Charles Barkley and Kenny Smith, Ernie Johnson looked up the game's statistics and discovered that Shaq had made only 18 of his 39 free throw attempts. Instead of being embarrassed, Shaq boldly declared, "At least that's over 50%. The mathematical reality 18 made free throws out of 39 attempts equals 46.2%, which is definitely under 50%, not over it. Even more embarrassing was watching Shaq insist his math was correct until he finally worked it out loud. 18 plus 18 is 36, and I went 18 for 39. Oh, yeah, you're right." Public humiliation on live TV. This moment showcased Shaq's inability to do basic math on national television while trying to criticize another player's performance. The irony of being wrong about his own statistics while mocking someone else made this particularly cringe-worthy. 2. The inappropriate comments about women's basketball. Lowering the rim suggestion. Shaq made not one, but two really problematic statements during an appearance on Angel Reese's show while discussing women's basketball and how to increase viewership. The misguided proposal Shaq has repeatedly suggested that the WNBA should lower the rim so women can dunk like men in the NBA. "You think if we just lower the rim so y'all can dunk like we dunk, that'll give y'all more fans than you already have?" Angel Reese's professional response. When Angel Reese pushed back against this idea, Shaq doubled down with more problematic comments about aesthetics over athletics. "It's not about skill, it's about seeing things you're not supposed to see." Crossing professional boundaries. Shaq then made extremely inappropriate comments about Reese's appearance and clothing choices, treating her more like an entertainment object than a professional athlete. The trust violation. What made this particularly disappointing was that Angel had previously described Shaq as a father figure. "He's been there for me through tough times. There's not a better person for me to be close to." Shaq's comments completely violated that trust and professional relationship, showing a fundamental lack of respect for women's athletics and individual boundaries. 1. The petty Kobe Bryant rap lyrics. The Lakers dynasty split. The rivalry between Shaq and Kobe is one of the most famous in NBA history. What made it unique was that both players are all-time greats who could be incredibly petty toward each other. When it became clear the Lakers wanted to build around Kobe, Shaq requested a trade to Miami, where he won his 4th championship, one more than Kobe had at the time. Kobe's championship run without Shaq. However, Kobe went on his legendary championship run, reaching 3 straight finals and winning 2 more titles. But Kobe's first finals appearance without Shaq ended in defeat to the Boston Celtics. The inappropriate rap performance, Shaq then crossed a major line by performing a rap song at a club that included extremely inappropriate and vulgar lyrics directed at Kobe. The rap was recorded and spread across the internet. Why this aged terribly? It was clear that Shaq was celebrating Kobe's failure and wanted to prove that Kobe couldn't win without him. However, Kobe would have the last laugh. He went on to win 2 more championships and made sure everyone knew he had 1 more ring than Shaq. The legacy impact. Now that song and Shaq's petty behavior just looks pathetic and immature. Instead of taking the high road as a champion and legend, Shaq chose to publicly humiliate his former teammate in the most unprofessional way possible. This incident perfectly encapsulates how Shaq's ego and pettiness have consistently damaged his post-NBA reputation. Conclusion: when legends become controversial. These 5 incidents show how even NBA legends like Shaquille O'Neal can damage their reputations with poorly thought-out statements and actions. From mathematical mistakes on live TV to inappropriate comments about women's sports to petty attacks on former teammates, Shaq has consistently shown poor judgment in his media appearances. While Shaq remains one of the greatest centers in NBA history, his post-retirement controversies have definitely tarnished his legacy among many fans and current players. What do you think? Thanks for watching this breakdown of Shaq's most controversial moments. If you enjoyed this analysis, slam that like button and share your thoughts in the comments. Who do you think deserves the spotlight next in our NBA controversy series? Are there other Shaq moments that should have made this list? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all our NBA content. We'll see you next time on the court.